We're broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios.
Visit mte.com.
Middle Tennessee Electric, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers
since 1947.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Now, your host, Scott Walker.
This morning, we'll be taking questions and talking about Murfreesboro Police, and we have with us today in studio from the Murfreesboro Police Department, we have got Chief Michael Bowen and also Captain Clayton Williams with us. And how are both of y'all doing this morning?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Man, the weather's kind of been changing back and forth from
it's beautiful.
Gray to snow to hot to, man, it's all over the place.
It is.
When the weather gets warmer and warmer, I'm sure you see an increase in activity out there on the street and all kinds of craziness, and maybe some not so crazy too.
Yeah, that used to hold true years ago, but I don't know that it's as defined as it is as it once was in the past as far as activity. Some of the spikes, I compare it to like November around shopping season. Yeah, there's a heightened awareness with all the shopping going on and a lot of things going on. But in the summertime, activity increases, but I don't know that it's as pronounced as it once was.
I know at one point we were seeing a lot of people who, at least the arrest records look like they were coming from Nashville and they'd come here to commit a crime and end up getting arrested. And that's when, we learn, well, they're from Nashville. Do you still get a lot of people who come from other areas into Murfreesboro to commit crimes?
Yeah, so, man, what you're talking about is when we had all the car thefts and auto burglaries. And I hate talking about stuff like that because whenever I talk about something good, then it's just, I don't know. Then I'll wind up eating my words, and then they'll start but man, when we look at where we were a couple of years ago with auto burglaries and auto thefts, those numbers have dropped tremendously. And I think, Clayton, are you ready? Have you all posted that information online yet?
For the annual?
Yeah.
We have not finalized that yet.
Yeah, once that gets finalized, the numbers will really be telling. But yeah, at one point it was just it was getting pretty hard to deal with because it was occurring with such frequency, and it was just hammering our resources. And now those numbers have tapered off, and I'm not talking like 1%, 2%. It's double digits, and we're all just kind of sitting back, waiting to see, hey, what's the next trend that's going to come up. But as far as the car thefts, auto burglaries, still happening. Still, like I said, any number is unacceptable, but we have seen a significant decrease in those numbers.
And do y'all see big changes in different types of crimes? Like there may be a trend one summer where it is a lot of car break-ins, then next summer it's a lot of shoplifting that occurs.
Yeah, you can see different types of crimes come into favor, for lack of better terms, that, hey, you'll see certain trends with this type of crime. I can tell you, and I'm going to answer your question, but I'm also going to lead off the path just a little bit because it's something we definitely wanted to talk about today. So one of the big things that we're seeing right now is we're seeing a lot of scam type things, and people really need to stay on top of those because those events are becoming more and more, those incidents are becoming more and more sophisticated. I don't know if anybody saw on social media where Larry Flowers had put out the incident, but I'm in the office doing paperwork the other day. Somebody steps in and says, hey, did you call such and such? And I'm like, no, didn't call such and such. Hadn't called anybody all morning. And it turned out somebody had, I guess, spoofed my number, called somebody, identified themselves as me, and we just have to emphasize that if you're ever contacted by the police to go to an ATM, to go to Kroger and get a money order, to do some type of financial transaction, to do not respond. And if you're concerned, say you have been to court, you may have some late court fees, hang up the phone, call the police department, call the sheriff's department, call whoever, and ask to speak to somebody about it. Just cut off that conversation with that individual. If you can get some identifiers, say, hey, what's your name, whatever, but don't feel like you have to act immediately. Feel free to come to call look for the public numbers online, the published numbers on our websites, and call, and somebody will talk to you about it. Those are becoming quite concerning. You see it more with the sheriff's department, where people are talking about unpaid fees for warrants or whatever it is. So you really have to stay on top of that, and definitely just tell your relatives, if you have older parents, things like that you really just have to stay on top of that.
I've seen some of the letters that go out, in the mail and then also through email that look like real federal court documents saying that, you missed this, or you have this fine, or, the people who are scammers out there, that they're coming up with some pretty elaborate looking letters that look pretty real.
Yeah, and like I said, it's simple. Don't respond immediately. Pick up the phone. If it looks like it's coming from the court, call that court. If it looks like it's coming from MPD, call us, Sheriff's Department. Just call whatever agency this alleged issue is. Just call them directly, and they'll be able to answer questions. It's pretty concerning, and it's concerning that people do respond to those sometimes and get taken advantage of. So, just be aware.
I know we've heard stories in the past where some folks are scammed out of, tens of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
Absolutely. And we work hard at trying to prosecute those cases, and we got a staff that will do everything they can to prosecute those cases, but it's not always possible.
Now, there was a time period where the majority of those who were the scam artists, the con artists, they were in another country. Is that still true, or are you starting to see where some of these scams are being produced locally?
I think they can originate anywhere. For us 80s children, I think the scams back then were, hey, I can come and seal your driveway for so much money if you pay me now.
Yep.
And then they'd never show up. So the roofer coming by, that type stuff. And those scams have kind of gone away, and they've, like I said, become more sophisticated. So point being there is they can originate anywhere.
And for folks listening, it's not usually very cheap to seal your driveway if you have an asphalt driveway. And if the price sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah. But yeah, all sorts of scams out there, and con artists around every corner for sure.
Yeah. And back then, back in those times, it was they would typically target the elderly.
Yeah.
And like I said, that trend has gone away, but now it's more of the electronic type stuff. Wire me this money, go to a Bitcoin, whatever, ATM, and get me some money somehow. So. And
door-to-door salesmen, they're still out there, and I've seen them, in different neighborhoods and whatnot, but some of them, even though they may not be running a scam, some of them are pretty pushy.
Yeah. It's like anything, due diligence. Man, the internet has made it so easy to research businesses, research reviews on businesses, and there's a lot of latitude for you to do some research before engaging in any type of transaction with somebody. It's just so easy nowadays to just be patient and not jump into a hard sale or somebody trying to push you to buy something, and just check it out. Make sure that they're legit.
And we had a question here that says that in my neighborhood, someone actually stopped me in front of my house while I was checking the mail, and they said, I noticed you don't have a security system, and we would like to give you a quote on installing one. And they're asking, how would they know if I do or don't have a security system? Do security systems have to be registered with the city or anything like that?
Yeah, so we have the ability to register alarms. That might have been just a wild guess.
Like a phishing type thing.
Like a phishing type thing. I know a lot of people that do have alarm systems have the little signs out in their yard saying this home protected by such and such, so they may have been reading off of something like that. But for them to actually 100% know, I think that would be a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been just conjecture on their part to see if somebody could say that. But yeah, it like I agree. A lot of times people will post up signs by the especially right by the mailbox, a little ADT. I think it's a fun one you see a lot and things like that. But yeah, I don't know that they would actually really have a confirmed way to know that information.
Yeah.
Because that's not something we give out.
And nowadays, I mean, the way security systems are nowadays, you don't have to have a service actually.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, with the ring systems out there, those things are amazing nowadays, what they're capable of and how useful they've become.
I think that would freak me out a little bit if somebody, stopped me in my driveway and said, I saw you didn't have a security system. And I think I'd be like, well, actually I do.
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a little bothersome.
Yeah. Without knowing a little bit more of that, my guess is he's fishing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But if you have somebody that does that, give us a call. I mean, especially if they're working in the neighborhood. I mean, we used to get, not that one as much, but I remember we used to get I don't know what it was, the pushy magazine salespeople.
Oh, man.
We used to get those a lot, and we would call and check them out. And a lot of times their business wouldn't even be registered with a license, and so we could take some action there, to do business here. So, yeah, if somebody gets something like that seems suspicious, please call us so we can check it out.
Yeah, and just when it comes to the police department, and I know a lot of police agencies, it's rare that you will have any, well, I can't speak for other agencies, so let me back up. MPD, we will not call you and solicit money. The FOP, PBA, some of the organizations where MPD members or where MPD personnel are members, they may do it, but they're a separate organization aside from the police department. You'll have FOP solicitations. You'll see around Christmas time they might be doing fundraising for like Shop with the Cop programs, things like that. So you may get police personnel, but they're acting under the umbrella of the FOP, which is fine. But I'll never call ask for money. None of my staff will ever call and ask for money. So that should be a red flag for anybody, that the fact that anybody's asking for any type of funding or donations. I've gotten calls at my house before. I've been in this job for 38 years, and people call, solicit for local police. And I'm like, I've been here 38 years, never heard of you, never seen where your money has been used for local law enforcement, and got to be careful about stuff like that.
Definitely, and the pre-recorded messages, the AI, voices, you can't tell them apart from a real person.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah,
definitely.
Now, if somebody, is calling, if they say, somebody's soliciting in my neighborhood, they're being, overly pushy about trying to sell whatever they're trying to sell, is it a bother when they call the police department and say, hey, look, can y'all just drive through and make sure this is legit and do something?
It's not. It might not be. Might not be prioritized, but it's not. And most people, they'll just have to get a feel for what's going on, kind of watch that individual. I'll notice, like, on my street, you'll see them make the full, I live on a dead end, so you'll see them make the full circle around the neighborhood versus spot picking houses. So just kind of see if they're out there trying to get everybody's business, or if they're just maybe trying to pick you out, isolate you for some reason. It's a judgment call. Yeah, discretion.
I remember, growing up, and in the 80s and 90s, the big thing was, if you buy a new TV, don't put the box out by the trash can, so that criminals don't see it and then want to break into your house. Is that still true today? Do you still tell folks that, or is that even a concern these days? Or are thieves after different things?
Well, in the city, I don't know if you can put it out by the road.
That's true.
That's
true.
I think.
And the one thing I do recycle is cardboard, so I always crush mine up and take it to the recycler. So I
think criminals have gotten they're more of opportunists now, and I don't want to. I mean, I would say so lazy, just like what we're talking about. It's a lot of work to break into somebody's house and take something out and carry it out and try to get away with it. Whereas you can be on the phone and pretend to be somebody, or send a text message and say, "Hey, I'm this and that." I mean, I just don't. That trend has changed. I mean, I hope we don't go back to that point, but
and most people have TVs in their homes, so it's not like it's anything unusual.
You can go to I saw Walmart the other day, a 65-inch flat screen TV for $298, and used to that'd be like a service merchandise, like $5,000 investment. But it's not the case anymore.
But a big TV is kind of a normal item for most houses nowadays.
Yeah.
Hey, it does seem like you hear a lot less about things like home burglaries. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, they happened all the time, but I don't hear about them as often.
Yeah, they definitely still occur. And there again, we had that incident off of DeJarnett Lane here a few years ago, and then we had another incident that was occurring up around the square, and we were getting hit pretty hard in both those areas. But at the end of the day, once we made one arrest, the numbers dropped. So typically, if we can get in there and make an arrest, we'll see those numbers change, because a lot of times it's one person or a small group of individuals that are committing those crimes, especially if you see them focused in a particular area. And I think we're doing a lot of work. I think our crime scene investigators have gotten real good about processing crime scenes, about fingerprinting, about doing those types of things. And as DNA, when those resources become more and more available, I probably won't see it in my career, but who knows, 10 years from now, the advances with DNA, we don't know how that's going to change a crime scene process and for the positive, but I look forward to that. I think it's going to be exciting times that you're able to go in there and get evidence and get some pretty quick results on stuff. Yeah,
I'm always surprised, and I haven't heard about this type of criminal activity over the last couple of years, but I was always surprised by when you hear those stories about, well, the person who's breaking into the homes is actually a teenager who lives there with his parents, in that neighborhood, and they're sneaking out at night and breaking into cars or breaking into houses even. Yeah. But those always surprise me, when it's somebody in your own neighborhood, somebody's son who's breaking into houses or cars.
Yeah, that does happen from time to time, and unfortunate, but we see a combination of both. And like we said earlier in the show, we had that rash of people coming from out of town to commit those crimes. I will back up too, and where you're talking about summertime, you do find that when kids are out of school, idle hands, so to speak. Yeah. So there's more things to get into, and no parents at home. They're at work, and kids are out probably doing stuff they shouldn't do. Yeah.
So that was never me. I never got into trouble. No. Here's another question. It says, good morning, guys. I've had many times a person who calls and says we are behind on our back taxes and they want to help us with that. And it says I hang up and we actually don't owe anything on taxes. Have you all heard of anything or any calls similar to this? Yeah,
that's happened to me about the taxes. And I'm good on my taxes. And it's just one of those things like, hey, where are you calling from? And they ask for personal identifiers, and you're like, I'm not giving that to you. Who can I call to discuss this with? And it happens.
Yeah, the text, and it's not a phone call. It's always a text I get, probably every day. It's either about somebody who acts like they're interested in buying your house, and they may come from a legitimate source, and the other one is about how you've been approved for XYZ line of credit, or you've been approved for this loan. And I'm thinking, I didn't apply for a loan.
Yeah. I remember that because I was standing in my kitchen. I was actually on my landline, and yes, I just got rid of my landline like 2 years ago, so it's fairly recent.
Man, you held on to that thing.
Yeah, dude, just couldn't let go. I remember that specifically, and I was like worried, man, am I in trouble with the IRS, whatever? And no, everything was good, and it was just somebody fishing, wanting to get my. I guess they were probably want me to turn over my social or something like that, and then once you do that, all bets are off. Once they get that information.
And these days, if they have your, let's say, credit card number, bank account number, and routing number, I mean, they can use that, go online and buy stuff themselves.
Yeah. That's why I love these new, it's been around for a while, but I love the ability to lock those cards when you're not using them, and I'd encourage everybody to do that. And it's amazing how fraud prevention from a lot of these organizations, like one of the banks I deal with, saw an unusual purchase, called me and said, hey, did you make this? I'm like, no, it wasn't me. And they're like, all right, we're shutting down your card. And just for them to pick up on it on their end before I even saw it was pretty amazing.
You know what also happens on occasion is if you have kids and they're at that age where they play video games, because these days, the I don't know what the latest video gaming system is, but it's attached to like Amazon Prime and things like that, where the kids have been downloading games, and hopefully your kids ask for permission for that. But those kids go and sell that video gaming system, and that information's still on there. So next thing you know is whoever bought it from them is downloading with your Amazon Prime account new video games.
Yeah.
But those things also happen.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, my son, he's 9. Every day I'm trying to teach him there'll be this deal on this game, you pay this, and then he doesn't understand that once he gets in the game, then it's, hey, now we need you got to buy this, and you got to buy that, and you got to buy this. So that's but you're exactly right. You don't want to leave that you need to set a password or something on that, because I know I've never seen it at the police department, but some friends that they made that mistake on their iTunes account, and that was back before you had the music library, and their kids were just song after song after song after song after song. I think it racked up like about $500 before we found out about it.
So my kids are grown now, but I do remember the days where my wife would yell upstairs because she'd get notified when they were making purchases, and she'd yell upstairs like, quit buying all these games.
That's real money, guys.
That's exactly right.
I had another one here. Now, this one says, this question, are domestic-related incidents a significant driver of violent crime still here in Murfreesboro?
A significant driver of violent crime. Okay, so domestic calls are still a significant part of our call load. I'm trying to track what I mean, a significant driver of violent crime, because you have violent crime that is not domestic related naturally. But yeah, to say that domestics, are they still a significant part of our call load, and are they trending down? Absolutely not. They still are something that we deal with on a regular basis, and hopefully if we go in there and take the right steps, we can break that cycle of violence, and hopefully break any patterns, things like that. Sometimes it's challenging just with the dynamics involved in those cases, but we do have a group of detectives that are just assigned to those type cases, and there's been talk about in our agency about maybe adding to that to make sure that we're being thorough with our cases, just with all the steps that you have to take to make sure a domestic violence case is properly handled, that all the notifications are handled properly, to make sure that the prosecutions, the evidence, all that stuff is handled properly. We're looking at expanding that unit to be able to help out with some of the cases. So
I know some of the most heartbreaking criminal type stories you hear are situations where, a husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, they're fighting. There's a order of protection that's filed, but in reality, it's just a piece of paper. And then later, that husband, that ex, whatever it is, goes back and kills the wife, the girlfriend.
Yeah, and I don't know if the caller or the person that texted in was referring. I know that in the past couple of years we've had some domestic-related homicides, things like that. So, yes, those do occur. But I have to say that domestics have always been a part of policing, and I don't know that that's ever going to go away. Anytime you have these relationships, things can go bad, and that's something that we try to be diligent in how we deal with them, make sure that we're doing the right things, and prosecuting when appropriate, and make sure we get the resources to the victim as needed.
Are those still some of the most dangerous calls for officers to go out to?
Wow, they are dangerous calls. There's a lot of dangerous calls, but those are always, like I said, anytime you have individuals, especially when it becomes physical before individuals, and you're going into those homes and having to separate that and kind of mediate and find out what's going on. Yeah, those are definitely dangerous situations, and ones where officers are always taught to be cautious and to really have that heightened sense of awareness. And
this next one, I think I remember hearing something about this here locally, but it says there was a gunpoint robbery during an online cell meetup. How common are these types of crimes? Wasn't that something recent?
Yeah, they do happen. And I remember the one we had here, and we probably had I don't know exact number, but I can recall specific incidents where persons over the past couple of years where people have been asked to meet someone in a particular area, and it turns out to be attempted robbery. I know there was one in was it Laverne a couple of years that turned out bad. So yeah, those do occur, and absolutely do not meet in some of these apartment complexes or some of these places. I know we offer the ability to meet out front. All that is recorded. Police are in and out of the building. So, and I look out on a daily basis and see where it's being used by people for transactions, things like that. So I'd encourage you to use that, even if it means driving a few extra minutes to get to our place. I would highly recommend that. And then I'd also check with like the Sheriff's Department, and if you live in Smyrna, Laverne, see if that's something that they offer, or if that's something you can use their parking lots for. I don't know directly, but yeah, just be real careful when you go meeting people for these online transactions.
Yeah, my kids are all adults now, but it still freaks me out if they say, hey, I'm going to buy XYZ online, I'm going to go meet this person, or I'm selling this, and I'll offer to go with them if they're doing it. But man, it does bother me as a parent whenever I hear about those stories, for sure.
Yeah, and used to I'd be like, hey, just go to like a public place, like a sporting goods store or something like that, and meet where there's a lot of people. But even a few years ago, I don't want to say the city because I'm not 100% sure, but I do remember specific incidents where they met in front of a well-known sporting stores, people in and out of there, and they had a robbery attempt, and it's just like, yeah. So I don't even push that as much now, especially with the availability of that police parking lot to be able to pull out, have it recorded.
Just because it's a busy area, you can't depend on people around you these days to call for help. I mean, hopefully in most situations, somebody who sees something going on would call for help, but you never can tell these days. Yeah. It's like almost everybody wants to stay out of everyone's lane. They just want to mind their own business and not get involved in stuff, which is bothersome.
Yeah, it is.
I had another question here. Scammers are impersonating law enforcement officials, which is what you talked about a second ago. Right. But is asking, how convincing are these schemes actually becoming today?
I guess it depends on who's on the other end of the line. Some people recognize it readily and say, hey, I know this is a scam. But unfortunately, there are people that buy into it and respond to those. So it's, like I said, it just depends on who the audience is, because you do have people that buy into them.
We're going to take a short break, and while we take this break, feel free to text in any questions. Our number is 615-893-1450. Again, if you have any questions for Murfreesboro Police, just text us at 615-893-1450.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. If you've recently changed your phone number or email, make sure you update your details at mte.com. It's the best way for MTE to reach you quickly with important outage updates.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park. Fresh cut greens and oven warm bread, jars of sweet jam. Flavors that shine from winter's chill to spring sunshine. Every Friday, feel the spark. Rutherford County Market at Lane Agri Park.
Local farmers with local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market every Friday through April.
You'll find it there from frost to boundless sea. And sing, we're in a tough and welcoming spring. So bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
At the Lane Agri Park in Murfreesboro.
Clarissa Smith is running for School Board Zone 4 because she cares about our kids' future and empowering teachers. But don't just take our word for it. Here's John Harney.
I certainly believe Clarissa is willing to stand up and state her views on issues and not be shy in doing that. I certainly endorse her as a candidate for the school board.
I'm Clarissa Smith, humbly asking you for your vote for School Board Zone 4.
Paid for by Friends of Clarissa Smith, School Board Zone 4. Clarissa Smith, Treasurer.
This is Peter Demas, and our family is inviting your family to come eat with us at Demas's restaurant. The salmon is my favorite, and then we have a variation that's on a regular menu for the salmon imperial that has some Alfredo, some crab, some shrimp on it. But the salmon is fresh, and we cut it fresh, but all of our fish you can either get blackened or you can get it with our regular seasoned salt, and either way you do it is just out of this world. And I'm not a fish person, but I will eat it at Demas's all the time. Come eat with us at Demas's restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
In studio with us today, we're talking about the Murfreesboro Police Department and different things happening in Murfreesboro. And today we have Chief Michael Bowen and Captain Clayton Williams in studio today. Now, Captain Williams, I remember years ago, you were part of the motorcycle unit. I mean, that was probably 20 years ago now.
I think so 2005 is when I got on that unit.
Man,
so
you're getting old too.
Yeah, you don't have to remind me. It's to the point I realized it the other day. Like my kids, my oldest is 14, and I said, hey, because sometimes they'll ask what I did today, and what I do today is not near as interesting as what
you used to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, yeah, do you remember when I did? And they're like, nope. And I was like,
you never rode a motorcycle, Dad?
I said, it sat in our garage. I was like, every day you walk by it. No, I don't remember that. But anyway, yeah, no, that feels like a lifetime ago. But yeah.
You think we'll ever see motorcycles added to the police department again in the future?
I don't know if I can comment on that yet.
Next chief might do it, but I can't. I just, man, we got hit hard a couple of times with some serious injuries, and of course we had the fatality.
Yeah.
Kay Rogers died in a motorcycle accident, and then we went several years and started experiencing some incidents, and it's just like I can't do it.
You're seeing fewer and fewer departments out there with motorcycles. It seems like, at least.
Yeah, I did. I was coming through Gallatin the other day and noticed that they still had theirs. So I went to the graduation and police graduation and noticed that they still had them.
I think that there's, like I said, there's a place, but it's just got to be the right, and it's primarily just got to be an enforcement issue. It was, when you're running across town, running emergency traffic to things, it just, your exposure goes up exponentially in something like that versus a vehicle. I mean, people still get hit in vehicles. However, as Chief mentioned, it's just, is the price that you pay worth that? And it's a real consideration. So I think you have to really evaluate the need versus the return on that. Is it worth the risk? And so it's
I just don't want to see anybody hurt.
Yeah,
I just don't want to see anybody hurt.
It's funny you mentioned I was in the Hendersonville area, and I guess looking back, I bet it was Gallatin. I was driving through right next to Hendersonville, and I saw a motorcycle police officer, so I bet it was Gallatin, though.
I say that to say, yeah, they're still out there, but we just, like I said, we had a rash of injuries, and we got to looking, and we're like, hey, what benefit are we really deriving from having these motorcycles? And I've got a whole crew of men and women out there would be like, bring them back. They'd take one, but I, like I said, just from what we've experienced, I just can't do it.
Have y'all gone that path for like the Parks and Rec Department, where you're using or thinking about using the electric bikes or anything like that?
I think we've got one.
Well, I think we have one for the Greenway. So ATVs are big, and what's really pushing the drive for us to get more ATVs is our homeless task force, and their ability to get back into some of these secluded places, and if they have to bring somebody out for whatever reason. So we're really trying to add to our number of ATVs. Plus, it gives us, I look at the Greenway system now, and it's just so expansive, and it gives us better coverage. It gives us better ability to cover more area on the Greenway on some of these parks. So that's kind of where we're headed now, more than anything. And of course, the bicycle and foot patrols are still supplementals, but just the ability to cover so much more area on a ATV, it's highly beneficial. Yeah, highly beneficial.
Another question we had here, and if I can find it again, Murfreesboro Police have warned about Bitcoin scams targeting especially elderly residents, and with millions lost around the country. How widespread is this issue? I guess I've seen more and more Bitcoin machines pop up in gas stations.
Yeah. So, and I haven't checked on it lately. I know that there's been some legislation proposed to the state, probably passed. I'd have to research where it is in the process that's talking about banning those in gas stations, those type of ATMs. I don't know if it's been signed.
I think they were supposed to wrap up session this week. So
yeah.
At the end, that was their goal. So we'll see. But
yeah, it's widespread enough to where you have some legislation that's in the pipeline, and I think
it's pretty severe.
Yeah, that's either being sent to the governor or has been sent, so I don't know where it is actually in the pipeline, but it's out there. So we're anxious to see what comes back from the legislative session.
Yeah, I know we don't have much time left, but this person texted in, there's a recent homicide investigation on Fairfax Drive that's raised concerns in our neighborhood. What can you share about this?
The only thing I can share, it's an isolated incident to that house. So if there's fear of a more widespread type danger in that area, I wouldn't be concerned with that. It's an incident isolated to that particular address.
And arrest has been made in that case.
Arrest, yeah.
Well, we are already out of time, but thank you both for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want your money to work hard for you? Who doesn't? South Central Bank has 2 CD specials that will help your money grow. South Central Bank has a 5-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 4.15% or a 25-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 3.8%. 2 great ways to put your money to work. You choose the term that works best for you. $500 minimum balance to obtain the APY. Stop at our location at 1602 West Northfield Boulevard in Georgetown Park today and take advantage of our 2 great rates. South Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.